In this video, I'd like to demonstrate the features that exist in the File Navigator. These include the options to copy gates from one file to the next, and also to visualize and compare specific populations very easily and quickly. So the first feature I'd like to demonstrate is the batch function. I will begin by opening my selection of plots in the workspace, and now I wish to copy this particular hierarchy from sample 1 to sample 2. To do this, I can click batch. We can see sample 1 is displayed. Now if I click the down arrow, it will copy these files from sample 1 to sample 2, and it will update the displayed plots in the workspace to show sample 2. Once again, I can copy these gates to sample 3 and visualize them to confirm that they're correct. If you do make an adjustment, this adjustment will be conserved when you next jump to the next sample. So, if you want all of your gates on all of your populations to be the same, then it may be better to use a copy-paste or a group analysis approach. However, if you wish to finally adjust your gates on every single sample, then this might be an efficient method. I will now bring my undo list to the screen and reload the analysis as it was at the beginning of the demo. Now I will demonstrate the jump feature. So jumping is similar to batching, except you're not copying the gates, you're simply updating the display in the workspace. So in this case, I will first copy, paste and group my gates to all samples in the list. And now I can demonstrate how I can jump from one sample to another without having to close all of my plots, make a selection and reopen them. So here I have sample 1, and with the jump number set to 1, I can click the down arrow, sample 1 will update to sample 2, and so on. If you wish to display and jump in bigger increments, then simply open the next selection of plots, and in this case I'd like to jump 2 files at a time. So we have sample 1 and 2, and if I jump, it will update to samples 3 and 4, and I can continue down the list or back up to the origin just like this. I will now close this second selection of plots and demonstrate the default plots option. So this can be used to pin a selection of plots to the workspace. You can then open and jump through a second selection of plots. So now, with this selection open, I will choose the default plots option. So these have now been pinned to the workspace. Now if I open my second selection, I have sample 1 and sample 2. If I jump, in this case, 1 at a time, sample 1 will remain, but sample 2 will be 3, 4, 5, etc. Of course, you can also open a second selection and choose to jump 2 at a time. So we have sample 1, 2 and 3. If we jump 2, then we'll have 1, 4 and 5. If you wish to pin multiple samples to the workspace, this can also be done. So open the desired plots, choose default plots, and now if I was to open a third row and jump 1 sample at a time, 1 and 2 will remain pinned, and it's only this final row that will update. Moving on to the jump on click option. So far I've demonstrated the ability to jump from one sample to another. Using the jump on click option, we can now jump to any sample in the list simply by clicking on it. So we have sample 1, I can refresh this to show sample 2, or I could go to the very end of my list and show sample 10. So I don't have to close my plots and reopen a selection from the list. I can simply click on any sample. We can combine this with the default plots as well. So with sample 1 displayed in this case, I will pin this. I will open sample 2, select jump on click, and now if I was to select a different sample, only the second row will update to reflect that selection. And the final tool in the File Navigator is the Show Gates option. So with this selected, we can see all of our gates. If I deselect this, it simply collapses all of the gates and hides them. And this can be a very useful tool if you need to quickly navigate to a particular file from a list containing hundreds or even thousands.